Good evening and a very warm welcome to Television Tonga News Package for tonight. Making headlines, public safety is a priority, issue emphasized in Parliament's deliberations this morning. Tonga Red Cross Society construct temporary shelters for the residents of Ha'apai, and owner of Emerald's restaurant released on bail after he was arrested yesterday alleged for possession of sea cucumbers. These and more stories later on in this bulletin, together with the latest in sports and the weather forecast. I'm Sini Lato with the news in details. From this morning's Parliament deliberations, the members of the House were concerned about an issue regarding the public's safety. Tongatapu number 1 Member of Parliament, Akilisi Pohiva, first raised the issue and his concern during Parliament's discussions. Kalalaine Tonglawa with more on that story.
According to information from the Member Parliament for Tongatapu number 1 constituency, Akilisi Pohiva, he told the House about a petition received from one resident in Tofoa regarding his insecure feeling about living in Tofoa. The content of the petition, according to the Member Parliament, was a complaint from one local resident in Tofoa regarding his neighbour believed to be a dangerous person to the society. During this morning's deliberations, the Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Food, Forestry and Fisheries, Sengsta Saulala, who's also the Member Parliament for the Tofoa constituency, says it is important to take appropriate actions regarding the matter. Meanwhile, the Minister of Police, Prisons and Fire Services, Josefa Tutafaiva, says the Ministry has not received any complaint or concern raised from the public in regards to the petition mentioned by the Member Parliament. Tutafaiva told the House the only concern raised with the Ministry was from the Asian people residing in Tonga. They told Tonga Police they're only concerned with the homicide cases reported last year in the railway road in Nuku'alofa and also the recent homicide case in Halaleva. The Honourable Police Minister also told the House he will follow up the issue with his staff because the public safety is a priority.
The government has approved the plans or structure for the temporary houses to be built by Tonga Red Cross Society in Ha'apai. The Secretary-General of Tonga Red Cross, Sione Tamoefolau, told Radio and Television Tonga News they will begin building these temporary homes in the worst affected areas after the tropical cyclone Ian's devastating visit earlier this year. Tonga Red Cross Society plans to build 200 temporary houses in Ha'apai, although the total number of houses destroyed in the cyclone is over 800. According to the Secretary-General of Tonga Red Cross Society, Sione Tamoefolau, funding of the construction comes from the monetary assistance that people have donated to help with the Ha'apai relief effort. Today, we've started building 2 temporary houses in Mo'ungaone. The reason why we chose to start construction from Mo'ungaone is because reaching the island is difficult and it would be even harder to take the materials there. One of the houses we're building now will house 4 people who are physically disabled and others have a mental problem. The other house are 2 elderlies who are both physically challenged. According to Mr. Tamoefolau, one temporary house will cost about 20,000 pa'anga and can be less than that. The shape of the house is similar to that of a 20-feet container. It has no rooms. This is only a temporary house, and when the government and other donor partners build the permanent houses, it will stand next to this one. Mr. Tamoefolau says if they have enough funding to build all the 200 houses now, then they will finish it off in the next 3 months. Meanwhile, they are knocking on doors, seeking the public's assistance and also donor partners for the Ha'apai relief effort. The Ministry of Health urged locals, especially children, to refrain from swimming along the flooded waters as it can cause bacteria towards their esophagus and skin diseases. This is after many children took advantage of the flooded water to swim. Meanwhile, some of the 20 families who evacuated to the evacuation centres during the heavy rain that caused a flood since Sunday up until yesterday still remain in the centres until their homes are safe and in a satisfactory state. We'll join Fatai Whainga'a with that story.
It is important to protect children and to ensure that they stay away from swimming along the flooded water inland, as it can cause them skin diseases and other related illnesses. The acting Deputy Chief Medical Officer from Mayola Hospital's Public Health Division, Dr. Ofatu Kia, told Radio and Television Tonga News it is vital that they abstain from the flooded water, especially when more and more people are admitted to the hospital with the current flu that affected their health. The flooded water that remains inland is very risky as it gathers dirt and bacteria from various septic tanks that can cause skin diseases and can harm children's health. Not only that, but when children walked along those areas without any shoes, worms can enter their skin and cause more harm. Meanwhile, information from the town office of Kolomotua, Siotuyano, says evacuees includes families whose homes were flooded by water and those who need a safer place for shelter still remains at the centres. The Mormon Church Hall, the Free Wesleyan Church Hall and the Roman Catholic Church Hall has always been the village's evacuation centre. During the daytime, the evacuees return to their homes, but in the evening, they always gather at the evacuation centres as it is their safe house. All their homes have been covered with mud and water, and it is unsafe. However, there are fear that the water remains at their homes can harm their lives as it collects dirt and debris from septic and other areas. We are currently working with the Ministry of Health to assess all homes that were affected to ensure that it is safe for the residents. Our concern was due to the long period of the time that water remains in these areas, which was since December last year. He also predicted that it may take a month for these affected homes to be restored to normal and for the water to be pumped to the ocean to ensure a safer and healthier environment for the residents. About 12 to 16 soldiers from His Majesty's Armed Forces have helped drain water to the ocean to reduce the level of water in several homes that were affected. However, it is also important that the people knows what to do or where to evacuate when such incidents occur. Meanwhile, the churches and the government school resume education today after being cancelled yesterday due to the heavy rain.
The owner of an Asian local business, the Emeralds Restaurant, was released on bail this morning after he was arrested yesterday, alleged for possession of sea cucumbers. Kalisi Tuyanoko with more on that story.
46-year-old Tijao, or better known as Joe of Kolofo'o, was released on bail this morning for 2,000 pa'anga. According to Principal Magistrate Salis Murphy, two sureties will be paying 2,000 pa'anga each for the bail condition. It comes after a search warrant conducted by Tonga Police to search the Emerald Restaurant yesterday. The result of the search, that they seized different types of sea cucumber during the closing season of harvesting. Principal Salis Murphy also stated that the sea cucumbers that the police seized yesterday will be returned to the restaurant to complete its preparation process of drying the sea cucumber. Once they completed the dried sea cucumber, it will be returned to Tonga Police. Meanwhile, processing of the sea cucumber will be conducted under police officers' supervision. The Asian accused is banned from travelling out of Tongatapu and his passport will be submitted to the office of the Magistrate Court. He is due to appear in Magistrate Court on April 7th. Reporting for Television Tonga News, I'm Kalisi Tuyanoko.
The Principal Magistrate, Salesi Murphy, has agreed to release on bail a 45-year-old foreigner, Bahram Haggai, yesterday at the Magistrate Court. Haggai appeared in court after he was arrested by police in connection with the possession of cannabis. Anasi Falicano tells you more.
The bail conditions includes the accused to pay 1,000 pa'anga with two reliable sureties. He's not allowed to leave the country. Meanwhile, in a separate interview with the acting superintendent of the Nuku'alofa Police Station, Inspector David Fifita, he told Radio and Television Tonga News this morning that there's an increase in the number of people arrested by police after they are found with possession and cultivating of cannabis. Inspector Fifita says police just arrested a 45-year-old foreigner in Baho on Monday after he was found with the possession of cannabis. Police had a search warrant to search the house in Baho and found a packet and one bowl of cannabis. The 45-year-old foreigner appeared in the magistrate court yesterday and he was released on bail with the condition to submit his passport, not allowing him to leave the kingdom. He is due to appear in the magistrate court on Monday next week. Meanwhile, Inspector Fifita says police also received a report from Huatolitoli prison regarding a 31-year-old prisoner found with possession of cannabis. On Saturday, 22nd, the police received a report from the Huatolitoli prison about a prisoner found in possession of cannabis. The police are still conducting its investigation towards the matter, and the 31-year-old man is awaiting to appear in the magistrate court. Inspector Fifita says this criminal act is on the rise as they recently arrested a different 31-year-old man from Anana for the same charges. Police are also calling on the public to work together in order to report any illegal activities in the local society. For Television Tonga News, I'm Anasi Falekaono.
Magistrate Court has fined an Asian man to pay 200 pa'anga for selling alcohol without a license. Lin Zhen of Kanokopolu was found guilty at the Nukunuku Magistrate Court. Magistrate Pita Soakimi also ordered Tonga Police to seize all the alcohol items and hand it in to the bailiff department. The items include beers and bottles of different types of alcohol. And that's the local news. Sports is up next after this break.